It's a foreign language, now know what's up. Don't mistake it. This'll help you every situation. Empower yourself, it's liberating, yeah. Communication, don't need no speculation. Just get that clarification, then reconciliation. Man translation, yeah. Man translation, yeah.
Hey. Welcome back to another Sunday. Did y'all miss us? I know y'all did. Welcome back to Man Translation, the Man Translation Show. We are live.
Indeed, we are.
Yes.
In a long time.
And I changed what we're going to talk about because, sometimes you have to talk about whatever the current events are, and I wanted to talk about that today. So this show is a show to really talk about relationships in a lot of dimensions. We kind of put things and take a deep dive into these subjects, these hard subjects that people don't want to talk about. So here you're going to hear things you never heard before, and we're going to talk about things we never talked about before. And so this is my son, Dante V. He is our resident relationship and communication strategist. And the reason why I do the show is because you don't really see a lot of mothers and sons having a show. I wanted to show the culture that you can have healthy boundaries with your son. He can have a healthy boundary with his mama. I'm his mama. And so we need to see that because it's a taboo thing in our culture for mothers and sons to have a great relationship. And it took a lot of work for us to get to this place, but it's a great place to be. Dante. So I am your producer. I am your resident Renaissance woman, one woman with many talents. I'm also an entrepreneur and I'm an author, etc., 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 etc. And so today we're going to be talking about narcissistic mothers. Ooh. And we're going to be talking about mommy issues in light of the video that went viral with Mama D and Scrappy. So we're going to be taking a little deep dive into that because whether we know it or not, all of us have been in some kind of way, shape, or form raised by a narcissistic parent. But we always talk about the narcissistic men. We never talk about the narcissistic mothers because we kind of put mothers on a pedestal, and we don't allow mothers to be human. We don't allow mothers to make mistakes. We don't allow mothers, to do that. And I think in doing so, we don't really get the full spectrum of the perspective from the mother's point of view. When Dante and I were mending our mother and son relationship, one of the things that we had to do was he had to see me as just a person.
Yes.
I'm not just your mother. I'm also a human being. I'm also a person. And it was really interesting because a lot of times we don't really know our parents. We just know them as the title of mother and father, but we don't know them, as people. So I started asking him certain questions. And I asked him what was my favorite color. Like what things do I like? Now some things he knew. Like he knew I like shoes because I've been collecting shoes since he was a child. So at any given moment, I have no less than 365 pairs of shoes, no less. I never let myself drop under 365. So that means I could change my shoes every day for 1 year without wearing the same pair of shoes. So he knew that I like shoes. He knew that I like books because I have a library and I've had that since I was 12. I started my first library at 12. But outside of that, there's some things about me as a person, you know, that he didn't know. And so it's almost like we had to kind of learn each other all over again because I was a young mother I had my children when I was young. I got married when I was young. And I just recently heard this therapist say something really awesome. He said, when you have multiple children, they don't all have the same mother or all have the same father. I was like, wow, because you're growing
Right.
and you're changing. And the mother that I was at 19 is not the same mother that I was at 25 or 30. That's not the same mother. The same mother that my youngest daughter had, Dante had a whole different mother. His
Mhm.
siblings had a different mother. Because you don't relate to your children all the same. You may discipline them the same. You might have the same rules in the house, but as far as how you relate to them according to their personalities. Dante has always been very adventurous. I would have to watch Dante. I turn around, the child be gone. Where's my child? Where's the child at?
Still the
He
same. Ain't nothing
walk
changed.
somewhere. At 2 and 3 years old, Dante walked at 6 months. He was walking. He had places to go. He had things to do. And I look up, and one day, I think maybe you were a toddler. I had taken him to the swing, and I took him outside the next day, him and his brother. I look up, where's my child? And I'm thinking, he went back to them swings. I go over there, he over there swinging.
Chilling.
So he's adventurous. Dante's always been adventurous. He's still adventurous. That's one thing I love about children. Whatever personality they have as a child, it doesn't change. They still have that same personality. He's still the same. But Dante was always very quiet and to himself because he's a middle child. He's the middle child of his other siblings. And so um
I mean, people really think I'll be out here just, I'm just a whole social butterfly. I am not. I'm
no,
quiet.
no, he's
When
not.
you see me, yeah, I'm cracking jokes, but just know you're gonna look up, I'm gonna be gone.
Yeah. He's still the same. He has not changed. And
No.
so we had to learn each other as adults. He had to learn me. I had to learn him as an adult because once your child becomes an adult, that's a person that you've never met before. You've never met him. You don't know who he is as an adult. And then as a mother, we have to make the transition to respect because we're so used to telling our children what to do. Go do this, do that. Come here, go there, do this, ordering them around. When they become adults, you can't talk to them like that anymore. I have to say, Dante, do you mind doing such and so thing? And he said yes, or he said no. I have to respect if he say no, then I have to respect that. So it's a totally different relationship with your child as an adult. He's still my child, but he is
Mhm.
now an adult. And so we have a totally different relationship. And now he's very expressive. We talk about everything, all kind of stuff now. I
Yeah.
learned all kind of things about him. He learned all kind of things about me, you know, as my son. And so I really wanted his perspective. He does an amazing job on the show. He's very faithful and consistent.
Yeah.
And so we enjoy, we enjoy it, and I look forward to it. Sometimes it's the first time I see him all week is on the show. On the show.
This is true. This is very
And
true.
so
Yeah.
I think that when we were talking and we wasn't really resolving issues. I felt like as a mother and having adult children, because I know that I didn't really have a blueprint as to how to be a mother,
Yeah.
knowing that I wasn't a perfect mother and I made mistakes, I had to kind of hear things from his point of view and his perspective as an adult. And it's not to defend. It's just to listen. So I just listened to what he had to say, and that's the part that was hurtful when I watched Mama D and Scrappy. You could literally see him hurting, and he's trying to express himself, but she's taking it personally, and she's defending herself. And a lot of times, whatever perspective your child had as a child, it's absolutely different from your perspective.
Because they ain't got all the pieces of the puzzle.
Right. And it's not to say that what they saw, what they felt was wrong. It's just what they saw and what they felt. And I
Right.
knew that in order for my sons to grow up and not have mommy issues, they got to resolve those issues.
Uh-huh.
Those issues have to be resolved. Because as a single mother, after getting divorced and raising three children alone, you're not always aware. When he said, "Well, mom, you hurt my feelings," and I said, "Well, I probably did." I have to acknowledge that. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? And
Right.
so Scrappy is not going to get the healing that he needs because it's not about me. It's about making sure that Dante is heard
Uh-huh.
and that he gets healed. That's the most important thing. And that's why I said, you know what, because we talk about it a little bit, but we don't really get into it really too deep. And even though I'm not a narcissistic mother, we still raising boys. We talk about this all the time. Raising boys is challenging enough. And sometimes you can be real curt and harsh and abrasive with your sons, and it will cause them to have a different perspective. It really can cause them to grow up to be misogynistic
Mhm.
and hate women. Talk about it, Dante.
No, because it's like you got one part of the puzzle missing. In some cases, not all. But if the dad's gone, the only person they have to rely on is the mom. And if mom is out here just upset, angry, and it feels like just taking out on the child's going to grow up, and when they find a woman, they're going to take their mommy issues out on her. Has nothing to do with the young lady that's there or whatever the case may be. But it's like because like they got issues with their mother, you're the only woman that's there that's receptive. They're not going to take it out on their mom. They're going to take it out on you. And then whenever they can't, they're going to keep popping to the next person, to the next person. Because along
Right.
with that, because they can't deal with the mommy issues, they don't really deal with problems. So when problems occur, you get thrown away, and then they find somebody new, and they'll just keep repeating that cycle over and over again until they're actually able to deal with what's needed.
Exactly. Not only that too, one of the another reason we do this show is because men and women don't think alike. Men and women think completely differently. And it's the same thing with your son. A lot of times women will try to treat their sons or talk to them as if they're female and they understand and they really don't.
Nope.
They really don't. Men have a totally different and young boys and young men have a totally different perspective and they do not process and they do not think the same. And so it really bothers me when I see young mothers and they are just oh my god, they just tearing their sons apart. They're cussing them out or they talking to
Mhm.
them real loud and real harsh and the child is not able to express themselves. It is like you're breaking their spirit at such a young age. They're
Because
not going to know how to have a healthy relationship, with a woman. And not only that, a lot of times children have issues with you that you don't know that they have.
but back to that mom taking it out on a kid. Like just because they look like their daddy, they ain't their daddy. It ain't. Like I had to my son look like me. I took this man to go get his hair cut. Of course, tell him what you want, how you want it. He did it. And ironically he got his hair cut like mine. Dropped this boy off to his mom, and she called me like 10 minutes later. Why you get his hair cut like yours? That's what he wanted. So now he got to hear all the anger that she has towards me, and that's the child. So now he's growing up with this conflicted thing, like why does my mom hate my dad? And then, of course, that gets taken out on him in the future because of such.
And unfortunately, there's a lot of that goes on when single women are raising, young men. That happens, unfortunately, a lot. When the relationship don't work out, the woman takes it out on the children. That happens a lot, but that's not normal.
No,
You
it's
know what I
not.
mean? That's a dysfunction. You know what I mean? And that's why it's so important for us to have this conversation because we are dealing with narcissism. Narcissistic personality disorder is just that. It's a personality disorder where you basically have not been dealing with your own trauma. And as a result, it's almost like you create your own world. And everybody in that world are just players, you know, in your fantasy.
Right, they're not real.
And so your children now then become an extension of that. And so you're disassociated. You're very disassociated. And we see that play itself out in a lot of different scenarios. I don't think people realize a lot of times when you're having problems with people on your job, it's because you're dealing with a narcissist. People that want to control everything normally have a lot of insecurities.
Hmm.
They're very insecure. And so they feel like in order for me to feel like I'm important, I have to control other people.
No, you don't. That's
And
how you
who
feel, sir.
and who's the most easy person to control? Your child.
Because I have to do what you say
They have to do what you say.
in some
You
cases.
know. And so when the clip went viral with Mama D and Scrappy, one of the things you see a lot with narcissistic mothers is they have no boundaries. They
Mm.
have no boundaries. She's all up in his marriage. She's all up in his situation. Now I have married sons. I have a married son, and and see what you have to understand with narcissistic personality disorder, they will triangulate you, which means that they will use you as a scapegoat in the situation. So when the flying monkey comes and says, "Oh, your son did A, B, C, D, E, F, and G," you got to be very careful what you say because they're going to take what you said, add their 2 cents to it, and go back to your son and say, "Well, your mom said da 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 da." So that's why, for me, I stay out of people's marriages. I don't have nothing to say about your marriage. That's your choice. That's who you chose. That's who you got to live with. And Dante is my witness. I do
Sure.
not inject myself into my son's marriages. Okay, even though I may
Unless,
not
unless
agree,
something's going on in the background that you need interjecting, of course you will. And you have.
you
So,
gotta be you have to really be doing something real. Like you got to be trying to poison and kill my child for you to speak up and say anything.
mm,
It's got to be something really drastic because that's their marriage, that's their situation.
right.
But in the clip, you see year after year after year, Mama D is all up in Scrappy's relationship, not just with Bandy, every relationship that he has had. And so narcissistic mothers, they see their children as possessions. They don't see them as independent from them and someone that has to grow up into their own person. And so it's really unfortunate. I really commend Scrappy for trying to have a healthy marriage and a healthy situation. But you can see that he's struggling.
Right.
You can see that he is struggling and he's hurt and he really does love his mother. And that's very conflicting when you have a love hate relationship with the person that gave birth to you.
Yeah, it's difficult and also forms a block in trying to have successful relationships with other women, whether they're
Other
friends,
women.
sister, or whoever the case may be, because a lot of
Hmm.
times, whatever the mom did, it never goes away because it's unresolved. So trying
Right.
to once that same conflict comes up, it's like it just gets dismissed at this point because this is what I've experienced in the past, and unfortunately, with some men, we will if one woman acts like that, they all do.
Right. That's true. But I don't think that Scrappy did. See, I don't think that when you're dealing with this type of mother that you even realize that you're dealing with this type of mother. I don't think Scrappy even knows that his
No.
mom is narcissistic and she has this personality disorder. She has all the classic symptoms, all the all the classic symptoms, even down to the fact of deflecting and blaming. He said, "Mom, I laid in your bed while in the other room. They were having, they were in my room turning tricks." And so her deflection was, well, that's what I had to do to put food on the table. No, you didn't. Like, and okay, if you felt like that's what you had to do, your decision has had a profound and
Mhm.
traumatic effect on your son. That's the part you're not dealing with. This thing has had a profound and traumatic effect on your son, and you're not even acknowledging it. You're not acknowledging that your decision that could have made him hate women forever and not want to get married and have a family of his own. Like she totally skipped over that part. Well, I went to school to be a nurse, but and then she gonna say, well, I wasn't the one turning the tricks. Come on, girl, stop playing. You don't start out a pimp. You start out a prostitute and you turn into a pimp. Because what was the game about? The game is about what? A quick buck.
Right,
When
money.
you turn the tricks, you can't make that much money that fast. But if you a pimp and you got girls, you can make more money. So what kind of image? Because as a parent, you are also a leader. So what kind of example are you setting for your son? Like that's the worst thing. You know what I mean? For you think that oh, just because you wasn't turning the tricks, that you was the pimp, that it's okay. No, it's not okay.
It's not.
The humiliation that he had to endure, I'm sure that had to be humiliating.
Yeah. And especially if word got out to a school and they knew what mom was doing, so it's like your mom your mom in there turning tricks or she a pimp or whatever the case may be. That's something else he has to deal with. But
It's just like Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor mom she was a prostitute, and the grandmother ran the brothel. So of course, he took the situation, he made it funny, but he was still in a lot of pain. That's why he was an addict. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what kind of pain are you inflicting on your child in order to put food on the table? Because see, narcissistic people are all about the image, about what something looks like. They
mhm.
don't care that they are ruining their child. They just know that when you come to my house, I got the latest this and I carry the latest that and I'm driving the latest whip and I got a nice house and all of that. But at what expense? At the expense of your child.
Yeah, because they're not looking at that.
Exactly. And so, she didn't really deal with any of that. And it is really interesting because these are the mothers that we're seeing on TV. Then you got Mama Jones, Jim Jones' mom, another narcissistic mother who totally tried to justify French kissing her son to teach him how to French kiss. You gotta be kidding me. And you're gonna get on TV and say, oh, it wasn't nothing like how y'all trying to make it out to be. Ain't nobody trying to make nothing out to be nothing.
Pew.
We know that abuse is abnormal use. You do not French kiss your son to teach your son how to French kiss. Where's daddy at? Don't daddy supposed to teach you how to, kiss the pillow?
What? Kiss the pillow.
Yeah, you practice on a pillow. You don't practice on your child.
No, you don't practice on a child. I ain't never heard nothing about no pillow either.
Well, that's what girls do. They practice on a pillow. But what my point is, hey, Miss Robinson, my point is these narcissistic mothers, don't see anything wrong. That she doesn't see that as incestuous. She doesn't see it as abuse. She just sees it as I needed to teach my son how to French kiss by kissing them. You got to be out your mind. Hey, see, Miss Robinson heard of the pillow because that's what we do.
I ain't never heard of the pillow. I'm sorry.
See, that's how girls learn. We learn by kissing the pillow.
Hey, you learn something new every day.
But she came on TV and she justified it, and you could tell that Jim Jones it still bothers him. That's why he can't have a healthy relationship with Chrissy because he got all these unresolved issues with his mother. She's another one. She don't have no boundaries. She all up in that relationship, trying to tell him what to do and how to do it. No, that's a grown man. That's his woman, and you all up in it. Hi, Betty McDonald. Anyone here dealing with a partner who repeatedly lies about his or her cheating activities? The hacker helped me hack into my husband's phone to remotely clone and extract the needed information from his social media activities. Old text pictures and useful information that can prove hidden and secretive cheating activities. Trust you're in the right hands. What? Okay, Miss Betty. No, we haven't done that. Okay, I don't know how she got on our page, but no. I need all that. All I needed was a license plate. I ain't need none of that. So
like every time you say that story, it's I don't know, it's just different for me. Because you literally found out everything you needed. This is what 1990 something, and the internet wasn't a thing, and you doing reverse searches before reverse search was really even thought about.
well, because the thing is that it's really crazy because I worked at the directory assistance 411. You know how you call? See, it was back before cell phones and all of that. You had to call directory assistance. They used to give out phone books, but nobody wasn't thumbing through the phone books for nothing. And they taught us how to cross-reference information. So I learned how to cross-reference information by working for the telephone company. So all I needed was a license plate number. Miss McDonald, I ain't need to do all that.
It's a fake account. It's a fake account. I got to pull it up.
Okay, and not only that, again, Mama Jones, all up in the business because they don't have any boundaries and they lack empathy. So when we saying ill, that's incestuous, that's abusive. She don't see nothing wrong with it because look, that's my son. Why? Because he's a possession, and I can do to him anything that I want to do to him. And y'all trying to make it like something else. No, we ain't trying to make nothing else. And if it wasn't bothering him, he wouldn't have brought it up. But then it is sick. But then because of the backlash that his mom was getting, he backtracked the story and tried to clean it up. But again, when you're dealing with a narcissistic, controlling, possessing mother who's insecure and have no boundaries, a lot of her validation is going to come through her children. And it's really interesting that Mama D, you got Mama D, Mama Joyce, which is Candy Burris's mother, also don't have any boundaries. She's all up in Candy's marriage with Todd, putting her 2 cents in. She's very controlling. She's very possessive. She takes credit for everything that Candy has accomplished, all the money that Candy makes. That's what they do because they're getting validation through their children. Then you got Wanda on the Love in Huntsville, all up in her daughter's marriage, coming to her house, all in her bedroom and all of that. But these are the mothers that they put on TV that that brings up the ratings to their shows, because when you have narcissistic personality disorder, you love drama. You love
Yeah.
drama because you're always seeking attention. And we don't really want to talk about Frankie, but because Frankie is deceased, well, she said Wanda needs to have a seat. Wanda is so ratchet. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about her. That she do not know how to speak well. Instead of supposed to be, she say supposed to be. Half the time you don't even understand what she's talking about. Uh, Mel told her she need a hooked on phonics kit, because half the time you don't understand what she's saying, but she's all up in her, because the daughter is passive aggressive. It's a deadly combination. Passive aggressive people are very dangerous. So the daughter, but she kind of says what the daughter wants to say, but is afraid to say. So we got all these narcissistic mothers that they parade around on these shows. She said Watson needs to have a seat. She does. And they're trying to make it look like this is normal behavior, but it's not. It's
No.
very dysfunctional. And we're raising, men to have mommy issues where they can't have healthy relationships with women. And the woman not understanding, why can't I have a healthy relationship with this man? Because he got unresolved mommy issues. And then when he tried to go and talk to his mother,
Can't because her feelings are more important than her actual child.
exactly.
So it's like, well, you got the issues, but what about me? What about what I had to go through? Or what about, me putting food on the table and the people I had to endure and things like that? So nothing ever really gets resolved.
Nope. And that's why it's important for you to allow, if you're adult or even if they're teenagers, a safe space to be able to give you their perspective on a decision that you made. You don't know, growing up, our parents make decisions all the time that affect our lives.
Hmm. It ain't
From,
actually a damn thing, but you got to go along with it.
I mean, I allowed y'all to have input, but I still made the decision anyway. But I
But
still
no,
want
but
you to know.
it still helped. Whereas, okay, at least I said what I had to say in regards to. Now, of course, there's always going to be some, when it comes down to the parent-child relationship, there's always going to be something that possibly won't be said. Like, listen, you're going to go to this school because, like you did with me in King, going to King versus Germantown. Either way, I didn't care. I was just happy to get out where I was. But you ain't going to King because this, and the third. I'm like, all right, whatever. Okay. Well, what you want to do? Well, you said King was crazy, so we're gonna go to Germantown, and it's only a year, so all right, okay. And then started going to Germantown. So I
Right.
get it.
So, but that's like really part of it. So how do you deal with that? How do you have be in a relationship with a guy who has mommy issues? If he's taking out the mother issues on you, because what happens is the anger becomes displaced,
Mhm.
because he's not going to confront his mother.
No.
He's not going to confront his mother. He's not going to say, "Oh, when I was 7 and you took me out of that school," whatever the situation is. He's just going to take it out on his girlfriend, fiance, wife, and we're going to continue in this cycle. And that's
Mhm.
why I felt like everybody is talking about how hurt Stacky is, but nobody is talking about the fact that his mom, she needs some help. She got it. Mama D got it. She's so disrespectful. Ain't even the word for what this woman is.
Mm.
It is not. He
No,
she
it's
has
not.
not
But it's
she has
definitely.
not respected anybody he's had a relationship with. From Erica to Shay, nobody. She's just all up in it. And it's almost like they don't look at their sons as sons. They look at their sons as this is my man. And that's kind of sick.
Yeah, but also they know that it's almost like how children look at some of their parents. They know that they're not going anywhere. I'm your parent. You practically stuck with me. And when you're dealing with something, granted, she's married. Okay, yeah, Mama D is married. I don't really know too much about their relationship, but also with that said, I can pretty much tell she likes to be in control.
Well, that's the whole problem. Narcissistic people are they're very controlling people.
Yeah.
Controlling and possessive.
Yeah.
To take not only ownership of you, your house, your children, who you're in a relationship, to get to say whatever. They showed a scene where Mama Joyce was having a talk with Candy. Candy and Todd, they're doing their will. And she's worried about what's going to happen to the money after Candy is gone. So Candy was like, well, I'm putting, what's the boy name? Putting him in charge. And she said, oh, no, you need to be putting me in charge, of the estate after you're gone. Because she don't want Todd to have nothing, because she feel like she worked hard to pay for Candy to do whatever it is that she's doing, and now she's successful. She don't want the husband to have any part of anything. So she's saying you need to put a separate trust for him, a separate one for the children, and then one for me. What? You best to be going to get in the life. First of all, that's backwards. You're the one who's supposed to be setting up so that your grandchildren and their grandchildren can have an inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to be living off of your daughter and her accomplishments. Let's go that way. And that's another thing when you're dealing with people who have this disorder. They're out of order.
Yes. Because they ain't got no order. That's probably why. If she has some business to tend to, she probably will be all right, but she don't. So her whole life is that of her daughter,
Right.
And what her daughter's doing, and
right.
what her husband's doing, and it's like and it's gonna come off like, oh, I got your best interest at heart, but you really don't.
She said my ex-mother-in-law would come straight into our bedroom and just walk in the house unannounced with her kid. This is just how I used to think men were with their mothers. He once said she has no boundaries. Deal with it. Why is you walking all up in somebody's bedroom? No.
Mama, I love you. I do. I promise you I do, but no.
You ain't got to worry about me being in your bedroom.
That's weird. Now, granted, a key.
Or no other room.
I get the key part, but I know that you would only use it for emergency uses only. Hey, called you, text you, didn't hear from you. I see you alive. Next time, boy, pick up your damn phone, and then you just walk out. I can see you doing that, but what? No.
And see, that's why a lot of times in these relationships, the woman will come in and be trying to have a power struggle with the mother. I've dealt with that with dealing with some of y'all women.
Ain't got to do it that way no more.
I'm not fighting over something that's already been assigned to me. You're my son eternally. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to fight for it. You know what I mean? Nothing is going to change the fact that you're my son. Period.
Go ahead and say it. I know it's coming.
I'm not going to say it. What I'm going to say is, you might be here, might not be here. I'm going to still be here.
Say it. Say it. Say it. What you've been saying to me, my brother.
What?
That moms are forever. The wives and girlfriends ain't.
That's what I'm saying. You hope you can make it till death do you part. God forbid if I die today or tomorrow, I'm still gonna be your mother. Nothing can change that. It's eternal. So don't come in here trying to be having a power struggle with me over my son. Not happening. You're gonna be fighting by yourself. And don't come to me think you're gonna talk to me about my son, and then I say something, then you go back and tell my son, because you're trying to create discord and division. You got a lot of them that do that. Okay? If I talk to you, it's gonna be as my daughter-in-law, not as his wife. If I talk to him, it's gonna be as my son, not as your husband. It's totally different. I'm not coming in between nobody's marriage. Period. I don't have nothing to say about it. Oh, that's what he did? Oh, okay. And not only that, what makes you think that you're gonna come to me and talk to me about my son and I'm gonna be on your side? You're not you're not smart. You're not smart.
No,
Like,
but
oh, you did.
that's the plan. The plan
Okay.
is the plan to cause that separation because, like you said before, it's a power struggle. So it's between you again, between you and her. But if I can get you to see what I see, then maybe you can go your way. Or when I come to you and say something, you'll believe it. Other than being his mom.
The ultimate goal of a mother for her children is for them to be happy with whoever it is that they with to be happy with. You just want your child to be happy, period. And
Mhm.
it does not make a mother feel good to see her son or daughter in a relationship that they're not happy with. And so if that means that you have to come to me and we have to have a hard conversation to resolve something so that you can get healing, so that you can move past it, so that you can have a better relationship with this person that you're with, I'm all for it
Right.
because I'm fully grown. I can handle it. But you need to express things from your point of view, and it's not a lot of mothers that will do that. You're gonna get that same reaction that Scrappy got from Mama D. She didn't, and then she called herself making up. She still, I love you. You're my son. Okay, well, he loves her. He loves this woman. So how
Man,
you gonna hate her? But say you love your son. Come on, stop playing. Can we say
listen.
cognitive
I
dissonance?
keep I keep saying this, and I'm gonna make a video sooner or later about it. Love by itself is not enough. You telling you love someone is not going to be. There needs to be actions behind it. There needs to be something that goes with it. Like it's not enough. It's not going to. I mean, I get like the action of love can cover like a multitude of things. Yes, but it's also the action of it. But you just saying that
We have to, as mothers to adult men and women, we have to sit down and allow these men and women to say to their mom, when I was 14 and you said or did XYZ, and they need to get that off their
Mhm.
chest. And you need to be quiet, mama,
And listen,
and listen.
don't say nothing. Even though you
Don't
itching to say something,
say
let it
yeah,
go.
don't
Don't
say
let it go, but
nothing.
just let them get it out
Let them get it out.
and give your perspective. Not tell them that they're wrong. Not
Right,
tell them what you're saying is dumb. You
right,
don't get it. They give their perspective of what they went through. Again, they're younger. They don't have the full picture.
right,
And then you say, okay, I see where you're coming from with that because
right.
that's the thing for you to understand where they're coming from, and then give your perspective on what's going on.
Let me tell y'all, it totally healed our
Yes, it
relationship.
did.
It totally healed our relationship. I listened to what he had to say. I did
Mhm.
not defend. I did not have any excuses or anything. So I just listened. And I just was like, of course, I got off the phone and I prayed. And I was like, man, And so then I was like, okay, because what people have a tendency to do is they think that their perspective is the only truth. And I had to explain to him because we moms, we have our perspective too. So we got into this thing about perspective. So I had to explain to him, I'm not taking away from you what you felt. I'm not saying what you felt was wrong. I'm not saying you didn't feel what you felt, that you didn't see what you saw, because you did. I'm not trying to take that away from you.
Mhm.
All I'm saying is I'm going to offer you some more information to put into the puzzle from my perspective, from my point of view. And if there was any place in the conversation that I needed to apologize to my adult son, I had no problem doing it.
And it's okay to apologize to your children.
To your children and to your adult children.
Because what they see you do, they will implement as well.
And
Right?
it
You
took
get,
us this one particular thing. We had this major thing that I didn't even understand. I didn't have an answer for it. I planned this. I moved it to Houston. I drove from Maryland to Houston, 23-hour drive. I went back home. I drove back for Christmas. And I came back. And I said, ain't no way in the world I'm gonna be able to drive no U-Haul down here. This is just not. It's too many bridges. This is not gonna happen. I've been left all my stuff on the side of the road. So I asked my son and my daughter, could you guys drive? I'll pay for everything, and you guys drive down here. Boom, cool. I bought them a plane ticket because Dante had to get back to work. I coordinated everything around him and his brother's birthday so we can have a cookout and celebrate their birthday. And then you fly back home, get you your ticket, you and your sister, y'all fly back home. Oh my God, the plan totally fell completely all the way apart. All this crazy stuff started happening, and boom, years go by.
was
I
it eight?
never
It was like
understood
8 years.
why he was upset or anything. Like, what? Had a conversation, and totally, he told me his piece. I told him my piece, and we were able to resolve something that had just been dangling in the air for years.
Yep.
It was remarkable.
And it was also it was long overdue. I mean, granted, I think it
It
got to
was.
a point where a lot of stuff just got swept under the rug.
Yes.
And it was like it was things that needed to be dealt with. And it was like we were just sitting there having a casual conversation. And it was like, why was
Yeah.
you so damn upset at
Right.
such? I'm just like, all right, because A, B, C, D.
Right.
And it went from it being like a surface conversation, and then it just
Right.
went in depth quickly.
Yes.
But all in all, it got dealt with.
Hmm.
Um, Nobody was upset, nobody was mad, but it was really more so, okay, well, here's why I was upset. And it was like, well, why would you even think I would do something like that? It was like, well, I don't know.
And
'Cause I'm a child.
see, it goes back to that perspective. Because children or young adults, whether you have young adults, they see you in a certain way. And for me, I've always been the type of person that if you don't know me, I'm very unapproachable. People find me very unapproachable. It's amazing to me. People find me very unapproachable. People don't. They be like, you just be looking so like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and so my children, even though I gave them the arena to be able to come and talk to me, because I wanted us to be able to communicate and talk and all that growing up, they still felt as though that I was unapproachable. And I'm a very straightforward person. I always have been. When you grow up and you see adults be phony, the last thing you want to be when you become an adult is phony. I can't stand phony people. I done sat and listened to adults as a teenager talk about somebody like a straight dog. And then that person will come walking in the room. They be like, hey, girl, what are you doing, girl? Girl. Like, you just was talking about that woman from her head down to the soles of her feet. You're talking about everything except her cat. And that's talking, hey, girl, how you doing? So I just was like, I really fostered being honest just with myself, but also being honest with other people. Me and my daughter was in the store yesterday. The lady said, we standing in line. The lady said, how do you like this scarf? Did you think this scarf? I said, nope, that scarf is ugly. You need to put that scarf down. It is cheap looking. It don't go with your complexion. Nope, you don't need it. My daughter was like, Mom, listen, I ain't got time to play no games with you. But I dish it off. I can take it. I demand the people in my life to be honest with me, brutally. If you need to be brutal with it, come on, bring it, because it's only going to make me better. Now, you're trying to be malicious, you might get cracked in your jaw. But if I know that you got my best interest at heart, and I know you really care about me, come on, tell me. Don't just let me walk around with a boogie hanging out my nose and you ain't saying nothing. Tell me. No. Because remember, honesty is what you have with other people. Integrity is what you have with yourself. If you don't have integrity, you can't have honesty. So I believe in having full integrity with myself. So I could be totally honest with you. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And so I had to take whatever it is he had to say. Whatever he had to say, come on, bring it. Because I can handle it. I can deal with it. But I know you need to get that off your chest.
Mhm.
You need to say whatever it is that you need to say without me defending myself. Mama D should have just listened and let Scrappy get that off his chest. He said, I got that embedded in my brain. Oh my God. Ain't no telling what he saw.
Hmm.
Your mama pimp and she pimping in the house? There's no telling what he saw. And there's no telling they might have tried to do something to him. She don't even know. She didn't even give him a chance to get it out. He might have been like, Mom, they touched me. He might have been molested. Anytime you open up your house to them type of miscreants, you never know.
There's a word you don't hear often. Miscreants.
It's true. It is true. It was a lady just talking about that just recently. How the guy, she thought he was there for her. He had been molesting her son and her daughter. When you open up your door to miscreants, baby, ain't no telling what they in there doing when you're not home. So this is really serious because we have a tendency to put mothers on pedestals, but mothers are not perfect. We make mistakes. We do. You can't say, "Oh, I was a good mother. I wasn't perfect, but I was a good mother." Well, if you know you're not perfect, then you know you made mistakes. And you know that some of them decisions you made affected your children in an adverse way.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them might have caused some trauma. You don't even know. Because you're not allowing them as adults to get that crap off their chest so they can go and have healthy relationships with other women besides you. Because as a narcissistic person, you want to be the only one in your son's life. No. That's not how that goes. No. You raise your children to be independent of you. You don't raise them to be dependent on you. You raise them to be independent of you and to be interdependent in God. My children, if they calling me up with their problems every day, that means I didn't do my job. You can't solve no problems in your own life. You gotta call me for everything. No, they call me for the stuff that they can't do. Same way I call God for the stuff I can't do. Independent and narcissistic parents do not allow their children to grow into independence. They demasculate, they don't empower them to go on and be healthy people and to contribute to society. And that's why I wanted to talk about that, because you can see the pain in Scrappy's face. That's why it went viral, because it touched a lot of people. And a lot of people do not know that they have been raised by a narcissistic parent, a narcissistic mother. Because we always talk about the men. But to me, I think the women are way worse than the men.
Because it comes down to manipulation as well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them will say, such and such because I'm your mother. And they use that as an emotional manipulation. Oh, this is my mom, so I got to do A, B, C, D.
Right.
And it's like, you really don't have to. She's kind of putting you in that position where as though you feel as though you have to, but you
Right.
no.
She kept saying that too. I'm your mother. I'm your mother. Okay, that's great. We know you. We know that. Okay, it's not like we don't know. We know that. But because you're my mother, it does not give you the right to abuse me. It doesn't give you the right to disrespect me. And if I tell you that you're doing something that's disrespecting me or that's making me feel uncomfortable, you have to stop.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get special privileges because you mama. We love you, but no. You moms have to have a boundary. Dads have to have a boundary. We put mothers on pedestals and then we don't allow them to make mistakes. And then when they make the mistakes, you knock them off the pedestal and then you get mad because they made the mistake. Well, I'm here to tell you mothers make mistakes.
Yes, they do.
We make mistakes. I was a single mother. I didn't resort to pimping. I could have had a sugar daddy. No, because it boils down to the same thing. What's the difference between an entrepreneur and a drug dealer? Patience. The drug dealer don't have no patience. When you out here pimping and prostituting, it's because you don't have no patience. You went to nursing school. She said she went to nursing school, but nursing school is kind of challenging. It's going to take some time for you to make that money. So that means you're going to have to struggle a little bit. Narcissists don't want to struggle. They want
Mm-hmm.
to validate themselves with materialistic things. They want everybody to see and create that image that I'm doing well when I'm not really doing well. On the outside, it looks like they're doing well, but at the expense of their children's emotional health. Because remember, we talked about the golden child, the scapegoat, and the middle child. The golden child is the child that they put out there. Oh, my child got straight A's, and my child. Because look at this. Because look at all these mothers. Every last one of these mothers, their child is successful. Every last one of them.
Yep.
Mama Jones, Jim Jones is a rapper. Mama Joyce, Candy Burris, Mama D, Scrappy, he a rapper. Wanda, all of these, they all have successful children because they put their children up to help them with their image, to validate them, so that society can accept them. Well, I can't be such of a bad mother. Look how good my children are doing. Because the children become the shield, they become the validation, they become how they get accepted. Okay, Scrappy is on the show. Why are you on the show? What you on the show for? Keisha was on the show. Why is Frankie on the show? Candy's on the show. Why Mama D on the show? Jim Jones on the show. Why is his mama on the show? Why don't these women have their own accomplishments? Because they're living as in an extension of their children.
Also, a lot of them, they feel as though because they put their lives aside and for their child to become successful, now it's
Hmm.
like the reason why you're here is because of me,
Hmm.
rather than pursue their own dreams. And nothing against how old they are, because you can pursue your dreams at any age, but they probably feel
Right.
as though they can, so they kind of live vicariously through their child
Hmm.
because they're no longer willing to do it for themselves.
Right. Exactly. That's a great point, Dante. Yep, they do because they make their child feel obligated. Your
Hmm.
child is not obligated to do anything for you. Your children don't owe you anything. You made the decision. I remember when I had my son, my oldest son, and they both of my sons were born in April. So Mother's Day is right around the corner. And they kept saying, you a mother now. You need to go and celebrate Mother's Day. And I said, okay. I went out, and I just remember it just did not feel right. I just felt like it was so like hypocritical or something. Because here it is, I made a decision to bring a child into this world, and now I want that child to honor me and give me gifts because I made the decision to bring that child into the world. So now you gotta appreciate me. You gotta give me all this stuff. You gotta do all this stuff for me because I brought you in the world. And I said, you know what? I'm never celebrating Mother's Day again. And I never celebrated Mother's Day anymore. I just recently celebrated Mother's Day with my daughter because she's a mother. But it just does not feel right to celebrate Mother's Day. I made the choice to bring a child into this world. My children don't owe me anything. You don't owe me nothing. You don't owe me an explanation. You're not obligated to do anything. How do you honor your mother and your father? You honor them by being obedient to do the things that they taught you to do. Honor means how you live your life. Do you live your life where your parents are proud of you, or do you live your life in a way that your parents are ashamed of you? Right now, I'm writing a book to honor my grandmother for all the things that she taught me in a particular area of my life. That's how you honor people. You don't honor me by going to the store on Mother's Day and buying me a gift. That's not how you honor me. You honor me by how you live your life. And so, too many children are growing up, and parents are making them feel obligated to do something for them. I pray every single day, God, let me be in good health, let me be in sober mind, because I don't want y'all to have to take care of me when I'm older, because you have your own life. You have your own life. You don't owe me anything. You're not obligated to do anything for me. If you want to check up on me as your mom, cool. If you don't, cool. That's cool. I'm not one of them moms you gotta call every single day. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But
I'm
we
busy.
do have to check in every once in a while. Hey, what's going on there? Still good? Still breathing?
Yeah, I don't have to talk to Dante every day. I don't have to talk to my children every single day. They don't have to call me every single day. They ain't gotta call me at all for real. Y'all
Hey,
might think that's real strange. They really don't. Because I
it's
feel
not.
like
It's
I've
not.
done my job. I've done my job. We don't get together as a family as much as we should. We probably should come together. Half the time, they don't even know where I'm going to be at. I done moved so many times and lived in so many states. Houston is the longest place besides Philadelphia that I've ever been. Half the time, they don't even know how to get where mama at. Ain't no telling where mama at.
This is true. And then especially now that she got some wheels.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, hey, baby, I can hop on a plane and go to Eastern Blip. So, we have to stop making our adult children feel like they owe us something and they're obligated to us for something. You brought them into the world. They had nothing to do with the decision that you made. Stop making them feel obligated. And I think that's part of what opens up the door to these mothers who think that they can possess and control their children as adults. Get out their marriages. Marriage is sacred.
Hello.
Whether you think they're doing it right or whether you think they're doing it wrong, it's none of your business. Like, what I'm supposed to do? You gonna call me and tell me my son doing something? What I'm supposed to do? Take out the belt and spank him? You see how big Dante is? I'm 5'2". I've been 5'2" since I was 13. I'm still 5'2". Okay, when they were growing up, they all taller than me. I had to get a 2x4, and I'd be like, oh, this 2x4 right here gonna bridge the gap between, yeah, whether I need to
Everyone
pop.
wants y'all know we hit that 2x4. We hit that thing.
I'm 5'2", but this gonna make me 6 foot with this here 2x4.
Nope. One day she came looking for it. It was gone.
And so my point is, mothers, allow these children to get off their chest what they need to say and be quiet and listen. And children, you're not obligated. You don't owe anybody anything.
Well, all right.
So close this out, Dante.
You just did. You just did. No, I was going to say somewhat of the same thing. Allow parents, allow your children the space to actually talk and speak freely. Of course, set the boundaries, set the rules, because respect is a thing that needs to be there. Don't be in there just cussing all willy nilly, but get your point, get your perspective out, and parents just listen. Give them that space for them to talk. I guarantee you, it might be a little rocky at first, but once you figure out and you see where they're coming from, you get their perspective, your relationship will be so much better. It'll be so much easier, and it'll just flow. Because at that point, you have the hard conversation. They'll come and talk to you about anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
The
And
younger,
Dante and I is amazing because we have a great relationship.
yeah,
We have a great relationship.
absolutely.
And
Last
I'm not,
things that cleared up too.
exactly. Yeah. It's like all that time you wasted.
Yes, because that's what I was gonna say. Like allow them early on, and as they grow up, because again, as they're growing up, you're maturing as well. So you guys are growing up together. You can
Mhm.
have the talks, whether it be hard or different, or they want to go off and do their thing. It's a disagreement because it'll be a disagreement, not an argument. The honor will be there because it's like I can talk to my mom or my dad about anything, and it's like I didn't even talk to them about that. Like that subtle conviction will be in them. Not saying that you want that, but it'll be there because you have that sort of relationship. Whereas though, if you don't, and they're just like, well, fuck it, I'll do whatever I want to do because nobody cares because that's perception is being given off. So when it comes down to that whole narcissistic thing and you being in control, the harder you try to be in control, the more you realize you're not. That's why you have to fight so hard for it to happen. Allow things to come naturally, allow things to flow as they should, and don't go against the grain.
But I think the reason why I wanted to bring up the traits between these mothers is because growing up, nobody knows that their parents have these type of disorders. They don't know, your parent might have been bipolar. They may have some other disorder that you don't know anything about. And I think that once you find out that your parent does have narcissistic personality disorder, it makes it easier for you to understand why
Right.
they operate in these types of behaviors. You know what I mean? Because I know my mom had stuff. I just didn't know what to call it. I knew something was wrong. I just didn't know what it was. So I think that when you know what it is, it makes it easier for you to deal with it, and it
Right.
also gives you a different perspective, as well. So I hope this was helpful to you guys, and we will. It's really cold here in Houston. I wasn't feeling well last week. I was like really congested. No, I don't have COVID. Nope. Um, People forget you still get the common cold. You got a change
No,
in the
because the
weather.
media has done a great job of hiding that. Like the cold and the flu did not exist. It was just you caught once and
Exactly.
go with.
And not only that, the time change. A lot of times with the time change, people get sick too. So that's why we were not here. But thank you all for all of your support and coming on and being faithful. We taking these shows. We still shopping and,
Yes.
and praying.
And thank you all for coming out, except for Miss McDonald, because we don't know what the hell she was talking about.
That's not nice. Don't do that.
Honestly,
Trying
what
to
did you think
advertise
of
for new business or whatever at the wrong time. But anyway, we will see you guys next Sunday.